Hi, my name is diemmiaile. Welcome to my YouTube channel. First off, I want to say, please ignore this. I'm breaking out. Nothing I can do about it. It's now, that's what's happening. So today, what I'm going to be talking about is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I will be reviewing this book. I'll talk a little bit about it. Will this be a spoiler review? No, it's not really a spoiler review. It's not. But I will give a summary, like a little synopsis, like the little back end of what this book is about, and then I'll go into my thoughts. So, basically, the story of this book, The Deal by Elle Kennedy, first of all, if you've not heard of this book before, have you been living under a freaking rock? Because this has been all over TikTok, okay? That's the only reason why I've read it, because I was like, everyone's like, Garrett Grandma's book boyfriend. I was like, okay, I need to find out who this motherfucker is, because I need a new book boyfriend too. And I must say, he is book boyfriend material, okay? But we'll talk about that later. So, The Deal by Elle Kennedy. It is set in Massachusetts, I think it is. Somewhere in the East Coast. In a university called Breyer University. The main character, her name is Hannah Wells. She has this really, really big crush on this football player. His name's like Jacob or Justin. Some sort of J name. Why do I always forget his name? It's like Justin? I'm just gonna say his name is Jay, okay? Because he becomes, whatever. I'm, not spoiling, but his name, he's like a J name, okay? Hannah Wells, she has this crush on this football player who's like new to campus. She's like a third year in Breyer University, and she has this ethics class. That's where the book starts out, in ethics class, where everyone is getting back their midterm papers. She sees her paper and she's shocked that she got an A, because most of the class average I think was like a C-, and most of the class failed. She got an A. And she was like, holy shit, like, that's crazy. I cannot believe I got an A. Because the class was so hard, and the professor was so tough that there was a makeup exam, like, in a week and a half from the beginning of this book. So, move on to the same time period. We see love interest Garrett Graham. He is a hockey player, at Breyer University, and because he's a hockey player, hockey is a really, really big sport in the university, that he's like the big man on campus. He's super popular. All the girls want to be with him. All the girls are with him. Like, he hooks up with a bunch of girls. He's like really hot, and everyone knows his name. He's like that guy. And yeah, he's just that guy. And Hannah is just she's a musician. She's like a music major. So he has no idea, no clue who Hannah is. And in this ethics class, he gets back his paper. He gets an F. He's fucked. F is for fucked. Because Garrett, to be able to stay on the hockey team, and hockey is Garrett's passion. It's like what he wants to do in his life. He wants to go to the NHL. If he failed the makeup test, he would not be able to play for the season, because his average, his GPA, would be too low to be able to stay on the team, because the school is really strict about that. He bumps into Hannah after class, sees her paper, finds out she gets an A, and is like, holy shit, how did you get an A? Like, you are so smart? Like, what the fuck, And he tries to convince her, like, can you please tutor me? I will pay you. Can you tutor me for this makeup test? Because if I don't, I'm screwed. Like, I need to pass this test, and he needs to pass it with an A. Or like an A- or something. And she just is like, she's really busy. She has a job. She has rehearsals for her music major. I think it's like a showcase. And she just like does not really like Garrett at all, because she gets really bad vibes from him. Like, oh, he's a player, and like he's just really an asshole, you know, and he does come off very cocky, but whatever. It's like cute when he does it, but whatever. So she's just like, no, I cannot do that for you. I'm sorry, but I can't. But he's just so persistent. So he spends so much time being like, I need her to tutor me. Please tutor me. And then, next thing you know, he finds out that Hannah has this crush on the football player, on Mr. J name. And he's like, oh shit, you like this guy? How about, since you don't want money, I will make you a deal. There's a party on some sort of week, right after the midterm. There's a party. I mean, the midterm makeup. There's a party, and if you come, Garrett says this, if you come next to me to that party, people will notice you, including Jacob, or J name, whatever the fuck his name is. And I will help you get him. Because he kind of knows, because they're both jocks, they kind of know of each other, even though they're on different, you know, Garrett's in hockey, J-Name's in football, but they know of each other, and they are kind of in the same-ish circles. Garrett says, I can be your wingman if you tutor me. And so she finally relents, she starts tutoring him, they start to connect, and then the book progresses from there. And that is all I will say. It's really cute. Kind of gives me, when I was reading the beginning, it gave me, if anyone has watched One Tree Hill, gave me Nathan and Haley vibes because of the whole tutor, like, athlete situation. And also, because in One Tree Hill, Haley's a singer, and this girl's a singer, Hannah, so I was like, is this One Tree Hill fanfic? I don't know, it kind of seems like it, but yeah, I thought this book, like, was really, really cute, but before I kind of go into my thoughts, I do want to say that I would not recommend buying this book, because I want to talk about things that are problematic a lot. This was released in 2015, but in 2015, we should have known better anyways, but it kind of reads like Wattpad, which honestly is fine. I love a good Wattpad book. I love toxic relationships in Wattpad stories. I'm so sorry. Every time I open that goddamn app, the Wattpad app, the feminism in me just flies out the window. I'm like, yes, please, like, I'm your property, you know, whatever. The feminism flies out of me when I read Wattpad. But this is also a published work, and I think that we need to not promote the things that are kind of problematic in this. So I would just suggest getting it from the library. The things that I talk about that are problematic is, like, the characters in the book say some really generic, stereotypical stuff about the opposite sex, and that happens quite a bit. And also, what was I gonna say? There is, yeah, it's just, they say some backhanded shit about the opposite sex, and also, there's just a couple scenes, this is kind of a spoiler, I guess, so I will put that little warning, just skip like a minute ahead, but there's like a scene right before they finally, Garrett and Hannah, kiss each other for the first time. He kind of pressures her to do it, and is like very, very pushy to be like, oh, you know, like, you're too pussy to kiss me, like, you need practice for Mr. J name, at the party, like, you know, he needs to believe that you're actually with me, and I'm like, oh my god, sir, why are you, like, coercing Hannah, you know, it felt very coercive, but then as the book progressed, it definitely got better, so I will say that. That's why I really feel like this is a guilty pleasure. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars because it was just so easy to read. I read it in like 24 hours. And the thing that really saved this book is just how well... Also, sorry, to go back to the problematic stuff. So sorry. Elle Kennedy is also pretty problematic. I don't know exactly what it was that she's done. I've just heard it so many places that, like, she just is very problematic. Also, there's not a lot of BIPOC in her books and things like that. So that is that on that. I just don't really feel the need to own the book. I own so many books. I mean, this is only a little bit of it, but I just don't feel the need to own this. So, yeah, the thing that really saved this book for me was the way that Garrett and Hannah talked to each other. It just felt so real, and like the friendship and relationship progressed really naturally. They really bond, and I love the banter, and it's so funny, and they're both such witty characters, and they say what they mean. I love that this book does not fall under the trap of miscommunication, because sometimes in a romance book, fine, miscommunication, whatever, but the way they communicate, they're just so honest with each other, and they're so truthful, and they can kind of read each other's minds, and I love that. It's like just really shows like that they really like each other and things like that. And they can see when there's something off about the other person, and I love that they don't linger, and this is also a spoiler too, so I love that they don't linger on this, like, will they, won't they, like that little limbo when they're kind of hooking up, or they've, like, done stuff, they, like, kiss and had sex, but they're still not girlfriend boyfriend, because he doesn't really date, and she was into this other guy, right, like into J-Name. When they're in that limbo, I love that they don't linger there too much, and Garrett is just so straight up. He's like, I like you, I want you to be my girlfriend, are you gonna be my fucking girlfriend? And then she's just like, yeah, and they get together, and I love that. I love that they just say what they mean. It's just so refreshing to read in a romance, because there's so many books where I'm like, oh my god, can you please get to the point? Can you please just, like, say what you mean? I already know that you guys are going to get together, but sometimes it gets really repetitive when they just don't, when just book characters are so dumb sometimes, and I love that these characters are not dumb, and they actually communicate really, really well. Another thing I will say about this book is that if you get triggered by topics of sexual assault or domestic abuse, do not, I wouldn't say do not read it, but keep that in mind that they do cover these topics. It does get a little bit deep into that. And another thing that I really liked about the book was that they also showed each other's passions, how Garrett is really, really into hockey, and Hannah is really, really into music, and they show their lives outside of that and who they are without each other, but that they just love being around each other and being together, and it's really cute. Also, the spice, not bad. Not, the spiciest, but not too bad. Not too bad. So yeah, that is my thoughts on The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Overall summary: borrow this book from the library. I think it's really worth the read. Understand the problematic things that are in this. Acknowledge it. And make sure to call that out in real life. But this is, to me, a book, right? So, just keep it in the fictional world, the problematic things. Don't take them away from you. Acknowledge it. And no need to support the author either, right? Just borrow the book from the library. If one of your friends has it, your friends read, borrow the book from a friend. There's really no need to spend your money on buying it, in my opinion, just because I don't really think it's worth the buy of me rereading it a million times. I definitely would reread it, but when I felt the need, I would just borrow it from the library again. So that's my thoughts. I think it's recommended, really cute. It makes me want a Garrett Graham myself. It makes me really into hockey, guys. Because he's really making me into hockey, guys. Okay? Okay? Hockey players? Like, ooh, okay. Okay, I see you. And yeah, now I'm depressed because I'm single. So, yeah, I'm gonna go cry into another romance book because this one really stuck. It was really cute. Also, another thing, I hate covers like this. That is also a negative star for that. I hate when they do this with the cover. Can you at least... I don't like it when there's, like, real bodies on the cover. Like, make it discreet, especially if I'm borrowing from the library. I don't want them to know what I'm reading, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure that I borrowed this from the library, too, is a sex book. Because I've read Math. I know what's in there. But look how discreet it is, okay? Or, you know, I don't know if this one... I also borrowed this from the library. Discreet. I love it. I love when it's discreet. Please, I don't need to see... the abs. Also, because I love to imagine what Garrett would look like myself. So if this is supposed to be Garrett's body, I say no. That is not what he looks like in my head. In my head, his nipples are not that dark. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I hate covers like this. This is so off topic, but covers like this. This is on my TBR. This is pretty spicy. They're just so cute on the bookshelf. Look at that. This on the bookshelf is not cute at all. It's ugly. I don't like that. That's why I would also not buy the book, because books are supposed to be, they're supposed to look good on the shelf, you know? People say don't judge a book by its cover. That's bullshit, because you keep the book in your house. Who would want this sitting on the shelf? If you sit it on the shelf, it looks like this. It's not cute. It's not, I don't know. Look at this. It's so pretty. Like, all these covers. I will only buy books with pretty covers unless it's a really, really good book that I will, and it has an ugly cover, then I'll buy it, but this is a no-no. No need to buy it, just borrow it, please. Okay? That's my thoughts. Read it. If you've read it before, comment on your thoughts. That was very cute. But I wish, you know, that there wasn't as many internalized misogyny in it, but that's fine. That's fine, you know. Keep it in the book. It'll be like I read Wattpad, but on paper. Okay? And that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.